Hey everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yes, welcome back.
Today we're doing something a little different. Usually we're digging into a stack of articles or, research papers, but
Right.
this time we're focusing all our attention on just one song.
Just one song.
Now I know what you're thinking. One song. How can we possibly fill a whole deep dive with just a single song?
Right.
Well, trust me, there's more to uncover here than you might think.
Oh, yeah. There are layers.
We're going to be talking about identity, the importance of place, and even a little bit of philosophy all packed into this one track.
It might surprise people how much you can really find when you dig into a song, especially when you consider the context of the background of the artists.
Yeah, it's like a time capsule,
Exactly.
capturing a specific moment in time and a certain way of looking at the world.
Absolutely.
And the song we're going to be diving into today is Nothing But a G Thang by Dr. Dre featuring Snoop Doggy Dogg.
One of the greats.
Or just Snoop Dogg, as most people know him now. This track came out back in '92, and it was a huge hit. It put West Coast hip-hop and that G-funk sound on the map.
It really did. It was a defining moment for sure. And it came off Dre's debut solo album, The Chronic.
Right.
And while it's definitely catchy and gets people moving, there's so much more going on beneath the surface.
For sure. So let's break it down right from the start. They announce themselves Snoop Doggy Dogg, and Dr. Dre is at the door.
Right out the gate.
But it's not just their names, right?
Right.
They're repping Compton and Long Beach, making it clear where they come from.
Exactly. They tie their identity to these places. And that line, Compton and Long Beach together now, you in trouble.
Right.
That really drives it home.
Yeah.
There's that sense of unity and shared experience that's so important for understanding the whole song.
Yeah, it's like their location isn't just a setting or a backdrop, it's a part of who they are.
It's fundamental.
And then, of course, you can't forget that hook, Nothing But a G Thang, repeated throughout the song. So what is this G thing all about?
Well, okay, so G obviously stands for gangsta, which has clear connections to gang culture, which is just a part of life where they grew up. But in the song, it becomes something more than just belonging to a gang. It's like a whole way of life.
Right.
It's a set of values, maybe even like a code of conduct shaped by their environment. It's about survival loyalty and navigating a world that sometimes feels like it's working against you.
Yeah, it's like a philosophy almost.
In a way, yeah.
And speaking of codes, there's a part where Snoop Dogg gets pretty real about relationships with women in particular.
Right.
And he uses some pretty strong language, talking about finding a contraceptive before digging out a bitch.
This is where things get a little complicated. Those lyrics are definitely offensive and reflect a worldview that a lot of people would rightfully find problematic.
Of course.
But to really understand this song, I think you have to consider the context. And it's
fair.
not about condoning those views at all. It's about acknowledging the honesty or rawness that was just a part of their reality.
It's giving us a glimpse into a world that many people might not be familiar with, and it forces us to think about how different environments shape different perspectives.
Exactly. And it's just one layer of this G identity.
Right.
And there's another side to it that comes through in Dr. Dre's verses.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on the streets, he's talking more about his skills as a producer and as a rapper.
Right.
He's bragging about his lyrical prowess and his innovative beats. Like those lines, well, I'm peeping and I'm creeping and I'm creeping, but I damn near got caught because my beeper kept beeping. Now it's time for me to make my impression felt out.
Yeah.
So sit back, relax, and strap on your seatbelt.
He's more than just a rapper. He's like a musical entrepreneur.
He's a businessman.
A businessman, exactly.
Yeah. Dre's verses offer this contrasting perspective. It's still part of that G world, but it's about a different kind of success.
Right.
One that's built on talent and ambition.
Right.
It's almost like he's saying, hey, look, there are different paths even within that world, different ways to make it and achieve your goals.
So you have these two sides of the G identity, the street level reality, and that drive to become something more an entrepreneur.
Right.
And it's that duality that makes the song more interesting than just a simple party anthem.
Absolutely.
And there's one more thing we haven't talked about yet, the humor.
Oh, yeah.
Snoop Dogg throws in lines like, so just chill to the next episode.
Like he's playing with the listener.
Totally.
Yes, preventing the song from becoming too preachy or too serious.
Right. It reminds us that they're entertainers at their core. They know how to have fun, and they know how to craft a song that's both captivating and makes you want to dance.
And you can dance to it, but it makes you think.
Right. It's not just about the beats. It's about the layers of meaning in the lyrics.
Exactly. There's a lot to unpack. We've talked about identity and the G code, but there's also a philosophical thread running through it especially in Snoop's verses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's dropping these little observations, about life and relationships, almost like street wisdom. Like take that line about women earning and learning their man while also burning them. Now, keeping in mind this language is, rooted in a specific context, and we're definitely not condoning it.
Right.
It's important to understand what these words meant in that world.
Okay.
So earning meant, proving your loyalty and trustworthiness.
Okay.
Learning was about understanding the game, and burning referred to infidelity.
So it's a pretty cynical take on relationships coming from a place where trust is hard to come by.
Yeah, exactly. And it all ties back to that broader Ganji philosophy we were talking about, survival loyalty, always looking out for yourself. It reflects a world where relationships can be pretty transactional and betrayal is always a threat.
Right. And then there's that line, ain't no pussy good enough to get burnt while I'm up in it.
Yeah.
Again, the language is harsh, but it kind of reveals a contradiction.
That's what makes it so interesting, right? You have this bravado, this objectification of women, but at the same time, he's drawing a line. There's a sense of responsibility there. A code he won't break, even in a casual encounter.
So even with this G mentality, there are limits, like a moral code.
Exactly. And to understand it, we have to go beyond just reading the lyrics.
Right.
You have to look at the cultural climate of that time. The early 90s were a period of, heightened gang violence, social unrest, economic disparity in places like Compton and Long Beach.
Absolutely.
And this song isn't just entertainment, it's a reflection of that reality.
It's like a snapshot of a time and place, a window into a world that a lot of people outside those communities might never see.
And that's the power of it. It transcends being just a song. It's social commentary.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths and to try to understand perspectives that are different from our own.
It's interesting how both Snoop and Dre use their verses to explore different ideas of success.
Yeah.
Snoop's talking about street smarts and survival, while Dre is showcasing his musical talent and his entrepreneurial side.
Right.
They both come from the same world, but they're on different paths.
And that speaks to the complexity of the G identity.
Yeah.
It's not one size fits all. It covers a range of experiences and dreams.
Right.
Dre, with his G-funk sound, was part of a new wave in hip-hop.
Right.
This fusion of funk and soul that brought a West Coast flavor to the genre. He wasn't just rapping about success, he was living it.
So they're showing that even in a world defined by struggle and hardship, there's space for ambition, for creativity, for finding your own way.
Right. It's about breaking free from limitations and proving that success can look different for everyone.
And they do it with this confidence and humor that makes it all the more appealing. Remember that line? So just chill till the next episode.
Oh, yeah, like he's breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Acknowledging the listener, bringing them into the joke.
Exactly. It's a reminder that they're the ones telling the story. They know the image they're putting out there, and they're using humor to make it more relatable, more engaging.
It's where the song goes beyond just a genre and becomes something more universal.
Yeah.
It's about the human condition, wanting to be recognized, striving for success, that search for meaning in a complicated world.
And it's amazing how they tackle these big ideas while making it sound so effortless and cool.
It's the mark of a true artist, don't you think? Being able to entertain and make you think at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
To create something that works on different levels, stays with you long after the music's over.
Nuthin But a G Thang isn't just a song, it's a cultural moment.
Yeah.
It reflects a certain time, but its themes, about identity and ambition and navigating a tough world, those are things people still connect with today.
It reminds us that even genres we think of as simple or just surface-level entertainment can have so much depth waiting to be discovered.
It makes you wonder what other songs, ones that seem straightforward on the surface, what other hidden depths they might have.
What stories and perspectives are we missing when we're not really paying attention?
Yeah, it really is the beauty of music. It can open a door to understanding different cultures, different ways of life.
And nothing but a G Thang.
Yeah.
It comes from a very specific time and place.
Yeah.